Welcome to Shop Talks. Shop Talks is a production of the Ink Kitchen. I'm Rick Roth from the Ink Kitchen. Check out our YouTube channel. Check out inkkitchen.com. All free information. This talk and all of our talks are up there. I think there's a couple hundred of them up there at this point. And this is all made possible due to Impressions and Los Angeles Apparel, Stalls, Hirsch, and Easy Way. Make it all free here. We're going to talk for a little while. We'll also have questions if you want. And folks are all either going to hang out for a few minutes or you can reach them in their booth. One reason we have Shop Talks is I try to have the best and brightest in the industry and people you can trust. And I've got quite a crew here. We're going to talk about what's going on in the fashion world, and that's all aspects from sports to high fashion. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves so I don't mess up. We'll start with Milissa.
Hey y'all, I'm Milissa Gibson with Lane 7 Apparel, and they tell me I'm the sales director.
I'm Ken White with Cotton Heritage, handle sales and marketing for the company.
Hey everyone, I'm James Brigham with Next Level Apparel. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Retail and Brands.
Hey y'all, I'm Rick from AS Color, and I'm the General Manager for the United States.
Rich Jacobs with SanMar Decorator Solutions Team.
All right, we got quite the crew here. I think, I know Rich has prepared himself, and the others can, if they're not prepared, they got a minute. So what's going on out there, Rich? They all have different regions they're covering. Some are national, some international, like AS Color in particular. And what's trending now, and what do you see just starting?
Well, you have a lot going to be happening after the first of the year. A lot of companies are telling remote people they got to come back into the office. So we're going from wearing athleisure to, trying to get a little bit more fashion when you're going into the workplace with meetings with customers and everybody. So you're going to be seeing Brooks Brothers and those kinds of lines that people are going to be wanting. And also,
you wear pants now too. Now,
you got to wear pants. I mean, it's not there, but also remember this last year they're contracting out delivery drivers and part-time people working in warehouse and stuff, but now they want people to wear their logo. So I'm looking, it's looking pretty good for 2025, I feel, for uniforming.
So what we're seeing out there here in the United States is prevalent with what's going on in our other markets around the world. We've got distribution centers in Netherlands, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and here in the US, and a lot of the styles, fashion we're seeing, the colors, the fits, we're hearing a lot of the same from the other markets. Not exactly, but very, very close. Garment dyed still seems to be very at the top of many people's lists. Over-dyed garments, oversized garments.
What colors?
So a lot of natural colors, like I'm wearing one of our favorite butters, but also ecru and bone and clay, colors like that, like earth tones, right? That's super, super popular right now. We're also seeing some changes in the fits, right? We're starting to see men wearing shorter shirts. I'm not sure if my counterparts up here are seeing that, but that's kind of a new, that's not for anybody on this stage to wear, I'll say that, right?
I'll run the crop top for them if they want.
All right. But that's what we're seeing out there.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the gap closing from retail and wholesale, and I think that's pretty exciting with styles and colors. If you go into Nordstrom now and you're seeing the latest trends and latest colors and cuts, you can now go in your wholesale side of the business and get something very similar. So it's exciting to show clients what's trending not only in the wholesale world but the retail world that they can replicate for themselves. And
I noticed you have like wider shirts and stuff like that you didn't used to have. Yep. So I guess that must be a trend for sure, right?
Absolutely.
How's that going?
It's going well. Yeah, it's just fun to hit the trends, be in front of the top fashion markets, and explain all that to the customers.
How about colors? What are you seeing for colors?
Yeah, a lot of natural, just like Rick said as well. Shiitake, bone, clay, earth tones are very trending right now.
I think like 10 years ago, you could not sell a shirt that color.
That's right,
Isn't that
yeah.
crazy?
Yeah,
Like you
more
could not.
royals and
I
reds.
remember having natural shirts I could not sell.
Absolutely.
And now it's full circle.
Yep,
All right,
for sure.
take it away, Ken.
Really, one of the trends that we're seeing, it's two components, fit and fabric. We're seeing oversized, and it's actually somewhat confusing on the fit. We're seeing oversized, kind of the streetwear, drop shoulder, more of a boxy fit. And then we're actually seeing a trend in women's back to something that's more of a junior spec. Something a little tighter, the baby rib, so things that are really hugging the body a bit more. And then fabrics. A heavier weight fabric is trending. We have a 5.5 ounce, which was our core tee. We've added a 6, and now we're adding a 7, like a lot of a lot of the brands that you're seeing throughout the building are adding. So fit and fabric are the two things that we really see as being the hot trend right now. Colors, I'm going to echo everything you've heard from everybody up here. Bone, latte, anything in the kind of earth tones or natural colors are really trending well for us right now.
We just did a Farm Aid concert, and the best colors were some greens. Is that like typical, or like is the best selling shirt we had was a forest green, and it seemed not designed necessarily.
Greens, forest, pine heather, military green, those colors have been trending for us for a while now. So yeah, greens are very important. The hotter trends, the newer trends are all the bones, vintage white, kind of the natural colors.
Melissa?
We're starting to see a lot of trends in texture and fabrics, kind of seeing deviation away from just a standard t-shirt that they're wanting either a thicker rib or a little bit more density in the fabric. Garment dye is still a big thing. I would say in addition to neutral colors being trend forward, you're seeing really saturation of colors, so like a big bright purple or like, and then you're getting leaning more into the neon. So it's kind of, you're living on both spectrums, but like a solid red tee right now is probably the hardest thing to sell, which you're outside of a sports market, which is interesting, I think, for a trend that you're seeing. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been really surprised with like UPS Brown. Like all of a sudden, 5 years ago, we would beg someone to take this off of our hands, and now we can't keep the stuff in stock. So I think seeing kind of the trends in pop colors really is happening faster than I think anyone here has ever seen it happen before.
All right, so you make a lot of sweatshirts,
A few.
so we call them. So zips or pullovers or crew necks, what's going on right now?
Pullover with no drawstring. Drawstrings are, who uses that?
Unless you want to strangle somebody, I think that's the issue. It's like crazy how this goes in a cycle, right? I mean, I don't know, 15 years ago you could not sell a crew neck, then there was a rage, now they're like...
3 years ago you couldn't sell a crew neck to save your life, but now it is...
and then quite a few years it was
almost
only
taken
zip,
over
right?
hoodies. Yeah.
And now it's pullover over zip, right?
Yeah, so the trend is definitely heavy on crews. I think for all of us across the board that you're seeing almost a 50-50 split between crew and hoodies. How long that stays, I don't think it's a forever trend. I think it's more of it's not a micro trend. Whatever is in between a macro and it's a medium trend.
I guess hoodies was long enough that I have people asking for hoodies and they want a crew neck.
Yeah.
The one without a hood.
Yeah, and you're seeing that fit get really, really relaxed. A drop shoulder, the oversized kangaroo pockets. What I really like seeing is it gives decorators a lot more capabilities and options in decorating space. You're seeing weird pocket placement decorations, and you're seeing on the hood, inside the hood. Yeah, hoods are like massive hoods. They want it to be the style.
Bring on the transfers.
Yeah, hoods are getting bigger, as Melissa was just saying, so it's giving you, space to print on the hoods. No draw cord, same crossover on the hood when you don't have that draw cord. And again, fuller specs on the fleece that we're doing. Also heavier weights. We're at 7, 8.5. We've got a 10 ounce and a 14 ounce now. So we're seeing a lot of shift towards those heavier weight fleece garments.
Yeah. What else are you guys seeing on weight of sweatshirts in particular, and weight of t-shirts?
For t-shirts, people are starting to ask for the heavy stuff again, and the more bigger at times, it just depends on the industry. and the skier industry or the surfing industry. You see, we're going back old school. It's a cycle. So we're getting back to the 80s where neons nobody wants to wear are black all the time. Now they're going back to the bright royals or the bright greens, and you got a whole new color palette that's going to be coming in 2025 possibly.
What you, Rick?
Yeah, if I could just add something on colors. So back to the greens, some of our strongest green colors are colors like sage and eucalyptus and pistachio, so that soft green, right? Another thing on colors that we're seeing is more and more people are interested for like punk rock bands is to do safety colors, to do their graphics on a safety color tee. Pops, as you can well guess, looks really good, and screams. So that's been very popular, so we've introduced some styles there. As far as the fits go, I agree with Melissa and Ken. It's all about oversized and cross neck and no drawstring and pocket placement. The other thing we're starting to hear from some of our embellishers are side prints on t-shirts, right? So tubular tees are very practical in that regard, and that's something different that's come up. Somebody mentioned down the way about locations of pockets too. Somebody gave me a crew neck fleece that's got one side zip pocket. That's pretty cool, and yeah, look at you look right like, are you kidding me? I haven't worn it yet, but.
What else are you guys seeing out there? What's going on? Actually, Rich, you were mentioning that certain sports are up and certain ones are down, right?
Well, after COVID, everybody's getting out. They're going to the games, they're going to concerts, they're getting their kids to play the sports. So soccer, sportswear is huge now for uniforms, where everybody's making sure the youth, women, and the men can get what they want. But I'm also seeing retail, I don't know if anybody else, nylon for shirts for women and men now. So that's going to be a challenge trying to figure out the right things on how to decorate that, because it's a great fabric, but there's some things with heat you got to work on.
If I could just add something.
Got to buy Milob on futures, I guess. Go ahead.
We're seeing jerseys like hockey and soccer, football, super popular. Auto racing and drifting and F1 and all kinds of componentry in auto. They're heavy on all kinds of new graphics and stuff, and they're really have embraced our categories of tees and fleece. Those two markets are on fire, though.
We've seen an uptick in quarter zips. We launched the quarter zip right before the pandemic. We couldn't give it away. Once people went back to work and the corporate environment was kind of taking over again, our quarter zip business has really taken off because of that.
I think we've talked a lot about men's fits. Women, you mentioned it, what you're going to see is that return to a junior fit. Or really boxy oversized, like it's the two extremes. But cropped, micro rib, I think, is going to be a massive trend going into 25, 26, and 27. Ooh, that hurts to say a little bit, right? 27. And I think, Sabrina, if you look at Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, kind of what they're doing on their merch tour specifically, tube tops are coming back, low-rise jeans for all of us who have lived through that horrificness, it's all back. So I think you're going to start to see women's apparel be more prevalent in what you're seeing in the landscape from vendors like us, that we're going to have to start answering that call sooner rather than later.
To that point, too, we're doing a women's fleece. So while I've said and Melissa just said fitted, the junior spec is coming back, fleece just the opposite, kind of an oversized, not too oversized, but an oversized fit for women, but a really luxurious fabric, a great soft hand, very cozy, but a really luxurious fabric is what we're seeing and what we're in development on right now.
Yeah, I think crops are huge and for here to stay, and even in fleece and even in oversized, especially with the more earth tone colors. And just premium fabrications across the board. Combs ring spun cotton is basically the staple now, and mixing in higher end retail like fabrics on all silhouettes.
For us, our top selling three styles are a baby knit rib, a crop top, and a boyfriend boxy fit. So that's what's happening for us.
Time to change the subject a little bit.
Go for it.
All right, let's talk sustainability. It's still getting out in the market. It doesn't resonate with everybody, but you really got to think what is in the market in Europe right now, which Stanley Sella is number one over there, which are coming to the U.S. soon. So, we have our own brands, the All-Mades. Everybody has either recycled poly or organic cotton. So it's going to be a message that's going to just keep growing over the years.
I think a new thing in that, I'll say, is that it's really hard to recycle mixed components, and I think on some level there's going to be a demand for things that are purely polyester or purely cotton because it's so hard to recycle anything that's mixed.
We're taking polyester down to the chemical level and rebuilding it. So it just depends where the polyester is coming from. Recycled scraps, water bottles, it just depends what kind of polyester they're using.
We see the same, and we use recycled water bottles and various other materials for all of our bags and some of our hats. And there is some demand out there for it. I don't think it's quite as hot as we would like to see it, but there certainly is demand for it. And we think that programs like the Ethical Fashion Report, where they look into the social responsibility and your production supply chain and how well you score, and all apparel companies get involved in that, and we think that's a great way to keep everybody in check too.
Yeah, I think sustainability is very important and is a norm within our industry to provide that information to our customers. And I think where you source your fabric and cotton is very important too. With our 25 line, we're using more U.S. cotton than ever, and that's really cool to relate to the U.S. farmer and the U.S. Economy when we're building out new styles, for sure.
A lot of challenges come with recycled, regenerated fabrics as well. Consistency is incredibly important for what we do, because it's important for what you do. The inconsistencies that exist in any kind of recycled, regenerated fabric is something we all need to be concerned with. So that's one of the biggest challenges that we're dealing with in looking at how we can have a very consistent product, color, hand feel, on any kind of recycled or regenerated product.
I think sustainability has just become part of our manufacturing process at this point, which I'm really proud of this industry for just taking it on. It's not really a selling point that we talk about enough as an industry, but we've just put it in our manufacturing. It's just what we do on everything. I think the second level that's coming to this, kind of what Rick said, is transparency through the supply chain of, this is exactly what we do, this is how we make it, this is where we make it. I think those things are, Gen Z and Alpha are going to demand absolute transparency in the supply chain, and us being able to talk about this and you talking about what your supply chain is and how you order garments and all of that, the customer is savvier than ever, and they're able to go in and do a quick Google search and find out almost anything they want. So I think that will be the next big fashion trend.
There is also different organizations like the Better Cotton Initiative, BCI. Probably many of us up on stage are familiar with that. It's a consortium of growers that use no pesticides and the minimal amount of water to be as friendly to the environment as we can. We all know that the business that we're in is not maybe the healthiest for the world, but we try to do the least impact possible, and that's really important. One of the things that we're looking at, which I found amazing, our production guy went to a cotton symposium in Australia about 6 months ago, and he saw two things happening. One was they were trying to grow cotton plants not from seed, but from discarded garments. Evidently DNA lives in the garment, and they're actually trying to grow plants out of a t-shirt, which was pretty amazing. The second thing that they were looking at was to try to figure out a way that they can grow cotton in different hues. So imagine a field of purple cotton plants where you wouldn't have to dye it purple, it would already be purple.
That was done, actually. I had samples 25 years ago, actually. Somebody was growing in different colors. They were like fainter colors, but they were colored. It was green, there was a tan, there was a couple other colors. One was a little reddish. Yeah. Right, anything pressing, or maybe we have some questions here? Other? All right, any questions about fashion? You got some experts up here. Wonder if something's going to take off or go south. What you're going to do with all those red heather shirts you got in your warehouse?
I don't have any. I sold all mine.
You know, it's funny that you say that. I will, because, well, it's ironic. So one is I saw a lot of your sweatshirts selling at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, but the best-selling shirt was a red heather shirt. By far. It sold
I believe it.
Sold twice as many as anything else there.
I believe it.
And that's a lot of shirts. All right, questions about fashion? Looking for a sleeveless shirt. Heather gray sleeveless shirt. They used to call us muscle shirts sometimes too, right? All right.
For men or women?
Yeah, men's or women's. So he's looking for a muscle shirt. You're gonna have to take a Wayback Machine, I think, my friend. or forward. Fashion forward. All right, fashion tip. Make one.
Okay. I'm trying to think who might have one. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
SanMar. You guys have. You have to have something
shirt,
like
sleeveless shirt.
There you go. AS color 701.
Oh, look.
All right, the booth's down there. You got him? You got? Yes, a check. It's good. Better than a false answer. SanMar's over there. You can ask them too. That's two good sources. Yeah. Other questions?
Everything is heavy.
Heavy.
Like, if you, I'm taking a wild guess, swing here. If you asked us about anything under 8 ounces, we're all going to cringe because we know what we're looking at. But your minimum heavyweight at this point for a t-shirt is 6.5 ounces. It's 10 ounces for fleece. You're seeing that 10 even not being good enough for a weight of fleece. You're seeing the demand for 12, 14. We're coming out with a 16.5 ounce hoodie, which is a coat at that point. But
with global warming, what is it? People have their air conditioning too high or what? Because it seems like you'd want a lightweight sweatshirt.
On the weight, you know, we have 7 ounce tee, there are 9 ounce tees up here. We're all going to sell those, and those are what is trending right now. But I have to be honest anyway, we're still selling far more 5.5 ounce tees, and we'll sell more 5.5 ounce tees over the next several years than we ever will a 7, 8, or 9 ounce tee. If I go back about, 6 or 7 years ago, our number one selling tee was a 4.3 ounce tee. Today it is a 5.5 ounce tee, and I expect it to be a 5.5 ounce tee a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. We will sell and offer and be showing the heavier weight stuff, but we're still going to sell more 5.5 ounce tees than we do anything else.
All right, other questions?
we're seeing that trend.
Yeah.
30 singles gone.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
You mentioned recycled, and then I lost you after that.
Here we go.
What is sustainable decoration?
Say your question again.
Hi, my question was regarding embellishment. What do you see coming as eco-friendly? Because you mentioned the recycled fabrics, but in terms of decoration, what's in the industry right now as eco-friendly or more sustainable?
Eco-friendly decoration is to leave it blank, actually. I think it's the best. I think that
Caesar has a new transfer that decomposes after, I think, 2 or 3 months.
yeah, they've been working on that for a few years.
And they just launched it, so.
Caesar, S-I-S-E-R. They have that kind of transfer. You know, as a printer, I'll just say that you do any of them responsibly is probably the most important thing, that you don't throw stuff in the wrong place, that you don't put certain things down the drain, that you don't waste things. Those are probably more important even than buzzwords. You know, when someone says water-based ink, I mean, you could have arsenic and all kinds of poison in there, and are you going to drink it? No. So, like, what's important that way is also part of it. There's not really any fantastic thing to do.
We have a sample of fleece in our booth right now. It's not ink. There's no ink on it. It's an embossed. I have to assume that because there's no ink, it's a little more eco-friendly. I don't know exactly what chemical components are in the embossing or that creates the embossing, because it's not just pressure. There is something in there that is giving it some body. But I would have to believe, again, no inks used. There's a level of, eco-friendliness to that garment.
High solids acrylics, I don't think acrylics are terrible for the environment. That's probably one kind of ink, but not all water-based ink is acrylic. You got to look at what's in the whole thing. There's organic embroidery thread, actually. You can look for that. That's a little hard to find, but there's a couple companies that sell organic embroidery thread. Good question, thank you. Other questions about? Well, what I was going to ask you, it's not really on topic, but where price is going to go, like in terms of cotton prices and et cetera?
I think the landscape 2 weeks ago shifted a lot. You're going to see inventory flooded in the market that has to be dealt with. That's a very real thing. I don't think anybody knows exactly what's going to happen. I think you're going to see some bottoming out of some stuff as stuff tries to get moved. But overall, I think prices will probably remain steady for the brands that are up here right now. But I would imagine we'll find out in 2 weeks, y'all. That's all I got.
Good answer. And I couldn't get rid of the microphone quick enough. Clearly, we're seeing freight costs like we're all seeing freight costs. So not just all of our goods are made offshore. So T-shirts are Bangladesh, fleeces in Pakistan. The cost for containers to be shipped now are rising. Certainly not to the level they were during the pandemic. They literally went from $4,000 a container to $20,000 at that point in time. We are seeing an uptick there. Clearly, UPS, FedEx, any LTL carrier, their rates are going up. So we're all dealing with that at this point in time and trying to do the best we can to manage through it.
Yeah, my best guess would be stable for a while, but we'll learn a lot more here coming up, so not many more things to comment on that.
We're seeing the same, but what is it more expensive today than it was last month or last year, right? One thing to note, and I'm not trying to sell you a bill of goods, but we do a lot of business in the music merch industry, and fortunately some of our customers are investing in higher quality goods like you're seeing up on this stage, and they're charging their fans a little bit more, but guess what? Those shirts are standing the test of time. They're actually better for the environment. They're going to pay a little bit more, but hey, you get what you pay for, as the saying goes. And fortunately for us, we're seeing that the consuming market seems to be embracing that. And I would encourage everyone, if you're in retail, to keep looking at those price points and pushing them as far as you can, because if you have a high quality garment, people are willing to pay for it.
All right, any other questions? Are any of you bringing manufacturing back to the U.S.? Rich is.
Right now, from the many years being in the industry, it's not the easiest thing. The price points will increase. It's just many years ago, North Carolina was flooded with mills making fabric, dyeing fabric, cutting it, sewing it, and this is like a big ship. My CEO at Haynes used to say, to turn that ship takes many years, and the analytics and the cost of wages and everything, you really have to dig deep to see what we can bring on the return investment and be able to still help you sell.
We just did all the merchandise for the Farm Aid concert, Willie Nelson, Neil Young, all that. It was all made in the USA. It was all grown in the USA cotton. It was all organic, and people paid a premium. We sold $625,000 worth of merchandise in one day, and another $150,000 the week afterwards online. So people are willing to pay for that in some circles. Not all circles, I would say, but some. Los Angeles Apparel was originally on this panel. They make everything right in Los Angeles, just as their name says. Rich, he knows that I'll usually yell at him if he advertises his products, but they have volunteer a line on SanMar that's all USA made as well. So, if you, some customers want that, yeah. And then I think, Melissa hit on it before, transparency is also important. Where is your stuff made? How is it made? I know that some of the factories overseas have good certifications, other ones have bullshit certifications, and do your homework. Should we leave it at that? I get the last word. I don't know. That's a little presumptuous, isn't it? Anybody else have anything else you want to say, or any other pressing questions? Or how about a hand for our panelists here, huh? I think they're all going to stick around for a minute if you want to talk to them, or some of them are, you can find them in their booths. I want to thank Impressions again and our sponsors. Check out our posters. All the proceeds of that go to a local homeless charity that is a very good one. And thanks for coming.